If you think it's hot now, just wait. What it will feel like triple digits outside. Plus, what new model plots show where these systems could go next.
And a new push to legalize medical marijuana in North Carolina. What's stopping it from becoming law?
A new study says schools in North Carolina are becoming more segregated. Coming up, we'll show you why Durham is held up as an example of what others can do to increase diversity.
Taking a live look across our WRAL live camera network on this first day of summer, we climbed into the 90s across our area, and we are tracking some dangerous heat in the next few days. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe. It'll feel like triple digits this weekend. Just look at this heat risk map. You can see that our entire viewing area is in the major category for Sunday. Meteorologist Mike Mays is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Mike, just no relief really in sight.
No, not for the next 6, maybe 7 days, Ashley, and it's going to really kick off over the weekend. Our highs Saturday and Sunday in the upper 90s. We're shooting for 97 on Saturday, 98 on Sunday. Try to find some effective cooling if you can. Saturday will feel like 103 here in the Triangle, maybe hotter in some other rural areas, especially toward Clinton and Fayetteville. And then Sunday's high 98 here in the Triangle, feeling like 107. It's possible we'll have heat advisories issued this weekend. And it's likely the heat will extend into next week. Now, Monday we have 95. Thunderstorms are possible with the next cool front coming in that won't bring cooler air. It will bring less humid air. Tuesday, 97. The peak of the heat may come next Wednesday with a high up to about 99. Thursday, we have the next cold front that comes in, and this one may be the one that breaks the heat wave. Scattered showers and thunderstorms at this point look likely, and once that front passes, it may end up being cooler for next Friday and next weekend. But in the meantime, this weekend, we're looking at moderate heat risk for the day on Saturday. Still hot, but not quite as bad as Sunday. We have major heat risk for the day on Sunday. That's when you're going to feel it the most, especially if you're exerting yourself outdoors. Now, if you're trying to find relief down east at the coast, high rip current risks are in effect probably into the weekend, and I'll explain why coming up in less than 15 minutes, Ashley.
All right, Mike, thank you. Today, state senators moved forward with the measure to legalize medical marijuana. It's the fourth time they voted in support of that bill in the past 3 years. Now it has to win the support of House Republicans. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie explains why that's been a roadblock.
Unlike a lot of the battles down here, this is not a fight between Democrats and Republicans. This is a fight among Republicans. Conservative religious groups are opposed to medical marijuana, and they wield a lot of power here. But some Republicans say it's time for North Carolina to catch up to most of the rest of the country. The bill would allow the medical use of marijuana, if prescribed by a doctor, for people with certain terminal or life-threatening illnesses like cancer, ALS, Parkinson's, and PTSD. Bill sponsor Senator Bill Rabon survived stage 4 colon cancer with the help of the drug, which his doctor recommended.
I implore you to help the people that need help. Help them to be legal citizens, not break the law. Get what they need to improve their lives from what little bit of life they have.
The bill would also regulate sales of CBD products in the state, requiring them to be inspected and taxed and sold only to people 18 and over. Senator Danny Britt said it's aimed at bad actors in the hemp industry who are getting kids hooked.
A lot of these things that are in these items that are being sold in these gas stations are unregulated, they're untested, we just don't know what they are.
38 states have already legalized medical marijuana, and polling consistently shows strong bipartisan support here as well. But so far, the state House has refused to vote on it. House Speaker Tim Moore says it won't get a vote until most House Republicans support it, even if it has enough Democratic votes to pass.
And the day that we have a majority of the Republican caucus ready to vote for it, then it would suit me to go ahead and vote on it. But until we have that, it won't come to the floor.
Senate leaders are applying a little extra political pressure this time. They inserted the medical marijuana bill into a bill that House leadership really wants, and that might give them a little extra leverage as the session here begins to wind down for the summer. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, Raleigh.
After a final vote in the Senate Monday, the bill goes to the House. The state treasurer is defending himself today over accusations he may have used his state vehicle for personal use. He's also getting support from Beth Wood. You'll recall she pleaded guilty for her driving habits. You may remember Wood crashed a state-issued vehicle into a parked car after a holiday party. A state investigation found she was using state-owned vehicles for personal trips. Now, State Treasurer Dale Falwell faces similar accusations. Wood says there are too many inconsistencies in how the state oversees this.
I, for 14 years, turned in mileage logs. Jill Falwell, for 8 years, has turned in mileage logs. And department administration staff never once brought it to our attention that we were doing something wrong. Not sloppiness on our part, no. It was trusting that people around us were doing their job.
Falwell released a statement just over an hour ago saying his staff is assisting in compiling documentation to fully answer any outstanding questions, and that he tried to be very careful in following published guidance.
I'm Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. All new at 7 o'clock, Morrisville police are releasing more information about charges facing this Fayetteville couple. That is Yanaria Locklear and Robert Harris. They appeared by video today at Wake County Court. Together, they are facing more than 50 charges of larceny, breaking and entering, and safecracking, and a string of burglaries at restaurants across Wake County. Now, here are the new details from Morrisville Police. They say that they are charged in burglaries at Mi Cancun on Chapel Hill Road and also at the Full Moon Oyster Bar at Village Market Place. Both of those happened in November of 2023. Harris and Locklear own a vegan restaurant in Fayetteville.
All right, Brian, new at 7, a fight to protect women's sports. A coalition of athletes, coaches, and advocates are in Chapel Hill right now pushing back against revisions to Title IX. The Biden administration recently rewrote the law prioritizing gender identity over sex. WRAL's Aaron Thomas is live in Chapel Hill. Aaron, this group is on a national tour to oppose the updated policy.
Yeah, Ashley, in fact, part of this national tour includes the former head coach for the UNC women's basketball team. We're talking about Sylvia Hatchell taking part in this national tour. This bus you see here is actually going around different cities and towns, and they're making their message known. You can see it reads Protect Women's Sports, and right over here with some signatures, it reads Take Back Title IX. Inside the venue in Chapel Hill, we heard from current and former athletes. Roughly 50 people gathered to hear their personal stories of competing against transgender athletes. Opponents of new regulations in Title IX say that it gives transgender athletes an unfair competitive advantage on the field and the court. We interviewed Coach Sylvia Hatchell. She, again, is the former head coach for the women's basketball team over at UNC. She says that she cares about the original intent of Title IX when it gave women the access to college sports in 1972.
It just takes away from what we worked so hard for. For 52 years we've worked hard, and it will take all that away. And we'll go, and it'll really hurt women's sports if that happens.
Now, Coach Hatchell adds that she's not opposed to transgender people and posed the idea of them playing in their own category, but some advocates of the LGBTQ plus community, they see this as exclusionary. On our late news, we're going to be diving into more of the new regulations in Title IX and those who are fighting for these new regulations to take place. Aaron Thomas, WRAL News, live in Chapel Hill.
State lawmakers are proposing 3 new constitutional amendments for the ballot this fall, including one that would say only citizens can vote. That's already the law in North Carolina. But sponsor Senator Buck Newton says some cities in other states are allowing immigrants to vote in local elections.
I've had a lot of constituents ask me about this concerning trend around the country and wanted to make sure that we were okay here in North Carolina.
Democrats say it's a political ploy to motivate conservative voters in a key election year. The other 2 amendments deal with photo voter ID and capping the state's income tax. The state Senate is expected to vote on them next week. For more details, visit the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. New data shows North Carolina schools are becoming increasingly segregated. That study from UCLA highlights one district in our area as a shining example of what to do to increase diversity. WRAL's Monica Casey spoke with Durham Public School District leaders about how their Growing Together redistricting initiative will benefit students.
The Growing Together initiative is the first major redistricting here in Durham in 30 years. This new study from UCLA says it's an example for others to follow.
In North Carolina, over the last 30 years, students of all racial groups have been disproportionately enrolled in schools with same-race peers. In 2021, the typical white student attended a school where nearly 60% of students were white, but only 45% of state-enrolled students were white. The typical black student attended a school where 41% of students were black, but black students accounted for only 25% of state enrollment. In that study, the Durham Public School District is outlined as an example of what districts can do to reintegrate. Magnet Program Specialist Rita Rathbone tells me the data shows diversity is good for schools.
All students perform better, have better outcomes both academically, social, emotionally, and in terms of work and life skills by learning in an environment where they have peers that are reflective of the community.
Growing Together splits the district into 5 regions, which standardizes access to magnet programs.
Ultimately, Growing Together is simplifying those choices, making them closer to home, and increasing the diversity and access to our programs.
Matthew Palmer believes the program's success can bring hope to districts across the state.
But our state motto is to be rather than to seem. And so public education is that opportunity for anyone, irrespective of race, class, income, to have an opportunity to go anywhere.
In Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Wake County has also had success with reassignment over the years. In fact, a 2021 UNC study shows that 25% of students reassigned in the decade between 2000 and 2010 had positive impacts on student achievement. A terrifying close call in a North Carolina backyard.
I saw my daughter Mila floating in the pool with her head down and her arms like this.
The advice this family is sharing after a near drowning in hopes of helping other parents and potentially saving a life. Plus, a new resource for UNC students to get prepared for their financial future. Hear from the director of the brand new program and how it's intended to help students when they enter the real world. A recent study finds more than 60% of college students worry about having enough money to pay for school. More than 50% of students would have trouble getting $500 in cash or credit in an emergency. UNC Chapel Hill students were part of this nationwide study, by the way. UNC's first ever financial well-being director is hoping to help address some of those concerns and get them ready for their financial futures. Gilbert Rogers took on that inaugural role at the university in the last few months, joining us now to talk about how this is going to help students. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's clear there's obviously a need for this kind of resource. What have you been finding?
Yes, so we've seen and come across many students struggling with understanding what college actually means as far as paying for school. Also, there's this hesitancy with graduation and not knowing what's next. So a program like a financial education opportunity gives students a heads up and a leg up as they enter the real world and start making decisions.
Talk about some of the things that you're going to cover to prepare students financially.
Yeah, so our program will focus on the big 5 holistic areas of personal finance, things such as budgeting, credit building, teaching students to plan for life after graduation, and also planning to start that first brokerage account and prepare for student loan debt. Those are the types of topics we will cover.
You've been working in this role at UNC since February. What kind of interest are you seeing from students?
Oh man, I have been blown away by the interest across campus as far as learning these fundamental skills that will ultimately change their trajectory for the future. I've had graduate students reach out. I've had undergraduate students reach out. I also have a number of students interested in being a part of the team where they can teach other students in a peer-to-peer model.
What have you found just from speaking with these students about the lack of literacy that they have walking into your class?
Yes, students, you see that students, their area of understanding of personal finance, it ranges based upon their background and what they've learned along the way. And what we're trying to do is really meet students where they are So with our program, we will have students ready to serve students who have no idea whatsoever where to start when it comes to personal finance. And also some students who are a little more well-versed in the area of personal finance.
Keep doing what you're doing. This is such an important topic. Thinking back, I don't remember having any formal education in any of that stuff. So I wish I had it. I wish I had your program. And I wish you and your students all the very best. Gilbert, thank you so much.
Thank you.
A new study ranks our capital city as one of the best in the country for new college graduates. Zumper analyzed the nation's 100 most populous cities, and Raleigh comes in at number 7 on the list. The study looked at a variety of metrics like median one-bedroom rents, the number of 25-year-olds with bachelor's degrees, the median income of younger residents, and local unemployment rates. Minneapolis tops the list, and Laredo, Texas was at the bottom. Dramatic video shows a North Carolina father saving his 2-year-old daughter's life after she nearly drowned in their family pool. Little Mila Shortridge was swimming with her siblings and friends in their Gaston County backyard. Her father, Matthew, says he heard his 10-year-old scream, noticed his 2-year-old daughter floating in the pool with her head down. That's when he jumped in, immediately starting mouth to mouth while a friend started chest compressions. Mila survived. She made a full recovery. Her mom, Amy, hopes to really help parents everywhere with their story.
I want everyone possible to know CPR because it really does save lives.
Some other tips that could save a life include supervision, have adults take turns being the designated water watcher, and then in public, always check for lifeguards and then figure out where they're stationed. Another thing, barriers. Residential pools need a fence and a self-locking gate, and consider alarms on doors that lead outside. Let's take a live look at Carolina Beach right now. You're going to want to also keep a real close eye on rip currents along our coast if you're heading to the beach this weekend. Today alone, there were 25 water rescues at Carolina Beach, 2 at Wrightsville Beach. Meteorologist Mike Mays has been tracking all of these, as well as just the heat that we've got coming up in the next few days, Mike.
Yeah, a lot of folks probably will head to the beach this weekend trying to find relief. It's not going to be so hot air temperature-wise there as it will be here, but the water, it's going to be dangerous to go in. Now, we do have high rip current risks for the day-to-day. Our southern-facing beaches, some of them have a moderate risk, but you can see from Curry Beach all the way up to Nags Head, high risk. And as Ashley mentioned, those rip current rescues, I checked with the Weather Service out of Morehead City. They didn't have any reports, but a lot of folks will probably be trying to go in the water over the next few days, and likely tomorrow a high rip current risk as well. I'll have that new map coming up at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL. And the reason why we're having issues, we had a little tropical wave. You can see the rotation with that. Hurricane Hunter aircraft went in this afternoon, couldn't find a closed low, but they say there's about a 40% chance this could take on tropical characteristics over the next couple of days. It's going to move over warm water. The shear not all that great, so we'll watch to see if it quickly ramps up. Not an impressive looking system. There's just not a whole lot of thunderstorm activity with it. Hopefully, we would think it would bring us some rain. There are the model plots heading into Jacksonville over Georgia and then curving to the northeast. But I don't see anything on the European model and the American model that would suggest that we would see rain from this. In fact, the European model brings it into this region here and the rain kind of fizzles out. There may just be some of the energy that comes on in. I think our next opportunity for any showers and storms would be Sunday and Monday. Now, there are the remnants of Alberto dumping that heavy rainfall across Texas and Mexico. Look at all this cloud cover. That's what the next wave that's set to move into the Bay of Campeche do the same thing that Alberto did. That's up to about a 50% chance over the next 7 days that it would take on tropical characteristics. And if it became a tropical storm, the next name on the list is Beryl. Quite an extensive cloud shield. This storm would be, it looks like it would be bigger than what we had with Alberto, and it is likely to make its way into Mexico and perhaps Texas too. These are the current model plots. We'll watch it closely. No impact here, and no rain from this system would ever make its way to North Carolina. 88 right now out at RDU after our 90 today, but temperatures are set to climb. And dew points actually fell into the 50s this afternoon. I had mentioned that possibility. Lows tonight will be in the 60s, mostly clear sky, and then tomorrow starting to heat up. This is the beginning. That'll likely last through at least next Wednesday. 91 at Roxborough and South Hill tomorrow, 94 at Durham, 94 in Fayetteville. Get ready. Mostly sunny sunny skies expected for the day tomorrow. Mostly sunny on Saturday, 97 the high. Notice our morning lows start to go up. It's going to be uncomfortable to start the day Sunday with 76, 77 on Monday. A chance for storms on Sunday, 30% during the day and into the evening. Monday, up the chance to 60%. That's pretty good. But still, I don't think everybody's going to see the beneficial rain we need. 95 the forecast high, 97 on Tuesday, scorching on Wednesday. And then finally, Ashley, I think by next Thursday, we'll get a cold front that will break the back of the heat wave and bring some showers and storms too.
Oh, here we go, Mike. Yeah. Thank you. Still ahead, whether you're looking to get out and about or head outside inside to beat the heat, we are helping you plan your weekend next. Packed with lots of live music, plus a big celebration for Pride Month in downtown Raleigh. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan has the details in Out and About's Best Bets.
The summer concert season is heating up, and there are two big concerts happening this weekend. First up, country superstar Tim McGraw brings his standing room only tour to PNC Arena in Raleigh on Saturday. He will be joined by special guests Carly Pearce and Timothy Wayne. On Sunday, Willie Nelson brings the Outlaw Festival to Coastal Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek. This event will include performances from Willie plus Bob Dylan and Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. The show starts at 5 p.m. And June is Pride Month. On Saturday, the Out Raleigh Festival is happening on Fayetteville Street in downtown Raleigh. From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., there'll be live music, vendors, artists, a beer garden, and a children's zone. Admission is free. These are just a few ways to get out and about this weekend. Kathy Hanrahan, WRAL News.
Just drink lots of water if you go out this weekend. Quite the sight outside the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher today. Staff posted this video to Instagram showing a wild alligator walking right in front of the aquarium. It's not uncommon to see gators around our state, especially near the coast. The caption says, in North Carolina, people and alligators are usually able to peacefully coexist and share our coastal habitats. Yeah, still quite the sight. Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL. Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.